right. Hey, welcome back to DBX, the Digital Business Experience. This is Digital Disruption with Frank and Kyle. This is week 16. Week 16, Frank.
Ooh, good morning, Kyle. Yeah, 16 comes by pretty quick. I mean, we're in April in 2021. Everybody is agog.
They are. So, hey, if you guys are just tuning in, we are streaming today on our very own LinkedIn page for the first time. It's been a long time coming, but we're streaming right here on the DBX podcast page on LinkedIn. We're streaming on Twitch today for the first time.
Wow.
We have YouTube and Facebook as well.
Evolution every week.
Evolution. So, hey, I got the chat open here. So if you guys are joining in, I see Paige is out there. Hello, Paige. She said, welcome, everybody. Let's have some fun in the comments section with today's topics. How's it going, Paige, on LinkedIn? But if you guys are out there, don't be a stranger. Drop a line. Let us know where you're watching from. Say hello. What is the most disruptive thing that you've seen out there in the news? If you have any ideas on that or any suggestions, drop a line out to us.
Absolutely. Hey, let's call out some of our sponsors. Today, I would like to talk about Common Desk, and they're our hybrid office sponsor. I would have to say, like in the co-working space, Premier might be too small of a word. Like these people go the extra inch, mile, whatever it takes to help you get the hookup, help you get moving forward right, settled. It's a really, I think they're an innovative company, and they're making a big, I think, kind of move in the market. Listen, if you're interested in them, open up a browser, hammer out go.acuerdo.io/office, book a tour, and ask for Amy Hughes.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. And also, we couldn't do this without our stream sponsor. Today, we are being sponsored by Restream.io. It's a platform that we're using to make this wonderful production today and to be able to stream on all those places I just mentioned. So if that's something that you want to do as well, to check it out for yourself, they're giving away $10 off, and you can start for free. So go to this link here, go.acuerdo.io/Restream.
Yep, and we're the digital business experience, and so without that, I mean, you would need to have like an experienced sponsor, and we do have one, and that is, well, we said before, Nice inContact, but they've changed their name, Nice CX1, and they really are the leader. They are the global leader in customer experience and contact centers. A lot of people know them as contact center, call centers, but man, they are so much more, and their evolution in the market is incredible. We're really proud to have them as our sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, let's start the show. All right, right up here, Venmo Crypto. So, Frank, today is another big day in the crypto space. Venmo just announced as of today, April 20th, that they are now allowing you to trade in cryptos, to buy cryptos, and I believe to trade them peer-to-peer within their Venmo app. If you recall earlier this year, I forget when, but PayPal jumped on the crypto bandwagon. So PayPal is, the arguably less popular but longer standing, brother to Venmo, both parent company owned by PayPal. But Venmo is that mainstream app. It's the mainstream app. I mean, a lot of people use Venmo. People are drawn to Venmo. It's that game changing. It's the difference between PayPal and Venmo is like most people have Venmo these days. Less people have PayPal now that you talk to.
Yeah, and there's also kind of like there's an aspect to it, Kyle, that's like generational. So like most of the millennials are like leaning more towards the Venmo. So Venmo is definitely making a huger. I don't even know if that's it. Well, it's huger. I'm just going to own that word.
It's huger.
It's huger.
It's giganticer.
Giganticer. They're bigger. I think that what they're doing. Bigger.
Sorry.
Thank you.
enough of that.
I think what they're doing is pretty monumental. Like everything in terms of tying crypto to, what's in your wallet in terms of like from standard USD cash is there, and the ability to transact in that and to pay bills with that, and both PayPal and Venmo live in that space. So now crypto coming into that is pretty huge. And I think that I think that you're going to see this as a trend. Like crypto is going to become, pretty much everywhere that we speak.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, you're seeing just the mass adoption that we tried to. They tried back in 2017. It didn't really go that far, but now we're seeing crypto just kind of taking over taking over the headlines in terms of fintech, right? So if you look at the fintech landscape, crypto is definitely something that's been here to stay for a while, but it's just picking up that momentum and popularity.
Yep. So basically, what they call out here, really interesting, is that for purposes of their user base, that 30% of that user base has purchased crypto or equities. So that's according to a 2020 Venmo customer study. And so that, and in fact, that all of that was like, again, like everything, triggered by the pandemic. So now that movement, they're following that movement and integrating that in there. And that's gonna, I think that what we saw earlier with Square becoming a bank, that where we're seeing PayPal and Venmo go around crypto is going to be like a huge, I think, paradigm shift in what's happening in fintech.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Venmo has what, 70 million users, and how many of those million users, they don't segment this, but how many of those millions of users aren't even in the crypto space yet? Maybe this could be the thing that pushes them into that space.
Yes. Like a hawk, PayHawk raises $20 million to unify corporate cards, payments, and expenses. I mean, again, another fintech play leading the way in terms of digital disruption. Again, they raised $20 million as part of this, and we're seeing this also too. Like, this is really an interesting trend when you look at a lot of the digital disruption. You know, we have a tendency sometimes to be a little bit ethnocentric and see a lot of these things coming from Silicon Valley or right here in Silicon Hills. No, there's a lot of stuff coming from the EU and the UK, and this is one of them. So you get your own IBAN, that's your international bank account number, and you are able to, as an organization, you're able to issue corporate cards, corporate business cards, both in a virtual and physical sense to your employees. And you can manage this around like different rules for different people, whatever their expense requirements are. What's incredible about this, and this is what you don't see in other areas in terms of like credit cards and everything else, is because of their 100% digital nature, they're able to tie this in a very frictionless way with like their ERP systems. And so now what happens is like the finance teams are controlling this with inside of their ERP technologies, and they're tightening multi-currency around this. Business account management, like right down to if that organization is with Lloyd's or Chase or whomever, globally, they're now tying this into their entire banking system process. This is massive. And it's like the footprint right now is UK, EU, but this is coming to a store near you in the US.
Now, I think this is really fascinating because you think about the financial space, right? Mm-hmm. As a business, as a human being, yes. The financial space is like one of that and health and fitness. Like those are the two most confusing markets here because there's so much going on. There's so much disruption, so much noise all around you. Mm-hmm. And there's so many different currencies now, both foreign and crypto. There's so many different places to put those currencies. There's so many different ways to spend those currencies.
That's right.
It's great to see like there's potentially a way to from a corporate level, right? From a corporate level, a way to allow your employees to, spend whatever currency you want.
Yeah.
Here's your budget, and here's what it looks like in Bitcoin. Here's what it looks like in what's the currency in the UK? Completely.
What? The pound.
The pound. Yeah. Here's it in pounds. Yeah. Here's it in yen. Right. Whatever. Right. Yeah. And give you that ability to have that better experience to just manage it in the way that you need to within the confines of these rules and stipulations, right?
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up those two things, like the banking and the fintech, and then you also brought up the health and workout, like follow how money moves and follow how people move.
That's a good point.
And add a digital component to it, and then, but that's where the friction is, right? Like if you think about all the paradigms that were just shown to be broken during the pandemic, this is giving rise to all of this.
Yeah, yes, without a doubt. Zoom 100 million. So Zoom, the one and only Zoom Communications, the one that everyone loves and is on 24/7 these days, they have created a $100 million fund to invest in startup software companies that build apps using its technology. So, for example, Salesforce already has something along these lines. They have an app, and what it allows them to do is display information from their corporate system for discussions during sales meetings. Mm-hmm. So it's creating this. It's already created. It's propelling this app marketplace to build on the success of Zoom. It's something that we've seen done time and time again. If you think of like dating back to the original App Store with Apple, right? Creating that marketplace. This is more of a niche marketplace, but it's allowing these other developers to come in here and like, let's make Zoom better. Let's make Zoom a better place, and let's make it integrate and communicate with your entire stack in new and unique ways.
Yeah, I mean, Apple really did kind of like they started that. I mean,
did.
Really they're kind of like the initial kickoff for that marketplace of applications that add value and make their solutions sticky. And then Salesforce, on the enterprise side, took it to a whole nother level. And now you see Zoom kind of falling into play, and you can see that they're essentially creating an incubator, an accelerator, with being able to fund these companies that are going to drive Zoom apps. So, and this makes sense. I mean, they can only do so much with their application. They now have to have meaning inside of other people's applications. And we've seen that in all the things that we work on around CTI, whether we're bringing in inContact and integrating that with Salesforce, or, any other like UC technology that we have, that like if you don't live and exist inside of these other technologies, then you become irrelevant. And we're seeing this across the board as other companies are creating technologies to compete. So you need to kind of get in with these other solutions, and this is a great way for them to get a footprint, but more importantly, become sticky inside the enterprises they exist in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, once you've accumulated the status that someone like Zoom has, I mean, they could have been doing this long ago. They already had that status, right?
That's right.
But once you've accumulated,
they have a lot of money now.
They have a lot of money now.
They have a lot of
money now. But yeah, at that point, I mean, you're Zoom. You have your focus. Your focus is on video and voice communications. It doesn't make sense for you to be developing this stuff on your own, but it does make sense for you to enable others to develop on that, to make your program better, to make your program work in different workflows in different industries, with different types of customers and unlimited use cases, right?
Oh, sure. And I would imagine a lot of those companies that are kind of getting into the fray in terms of building apps, maybe they have a core competency in that vertical or a core competency with Zoom. They'll be acquisition targets for Zoom.
Yeah, and we mentioned Apple a lot. Today is Apple Day, so
is it really?
Immediately following our show, good thing we're not competing with them, immediately following our show, Apple has their conference today. New iPads, maybe?
New iPads. Facebook, what? Yeah, I think that should be a t-shirt or something like that, and we need that. But Facebook invests in audio with short-term sound bites feature, podcast support, and a Clubhouse clone. And we know a lot about Clubhouse on there. So, audio is cool again, and Facebook is bringing an audio suite. This is kind of the first time I've seen really where, Facebook is kind of getting into the suite business, and I think this is interesting. First they peel off a Clubhouse clone. Why not? They can do it. All of this, when you get back to it, like really revolves around the fact that, Facebook has an audience, and they have communities, and they have a way of segmentation around businesses and communities and nonprofits and et cetera. So why not take it down to the meeting room? They kind of started to do this a little bit with like a video rooms solution here in this last year, and this is just kind of like the next iteration of that. So what's interesting is that they're bringing around these podcast tools where you'll be able to essentially create your long form audio, you'll be able to do your editing, you'll be able to push that into that Facebook, kind of like a one-stop shop, workflow kind of process. They're also creating a clone, go figure, of TikTok. So they're creating their own TikTok, style, video platform. All of these things, you're starting to see a movement here, right? Like, there's only like where they've gone, they need to go upstream. Their solution is now a commodity. And so for their advertisers, for their marketers, for how they make their money, they need to go upstream to add additional value so they can generate more fees. And so tying into their communities is huge. One thing we haven't really talked about, they purchased and acquired Customer. Customer is a CRM, kind of more of a retail-focused CRM, integrated in a way that creates a customer journey for that CRM and support. They're like more of a CSM, customer support management solution, which is kind of a new variant, by the way, like we should call out from time to time. But the thing is that if you can think about how audio and self-service and video is going to be tied into case deflection and how people manage support along the way, being the fact that Facebook is going to have like an infrastructure behind to do that, what's that going to mean for customer CSM, which by the way, we are a strategic partner with.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always interesting to see what Facebook is up to next, right? Because love them or hate them, they're a force to be reckoned with, right?
They're here.
And if they come out and they clone Clubhouse in the right unique way, they have a much larger user base. It's to be seen. Does Clubhouse just fade away? With LinkedIn is actually making a Clubhouse clone. LinkedIn's making a Clubhouse clone. You got Facebook making a Clubhouse clone. Instagram, which is Facebook, making a Clubhouse clone, and Twitter is making a Clubhouse clone. So, when your new app comes out and the big guys steal your idea, that's kind of a force there.
It is, and all that being said, Clubhouse just had like a ridiculous multi-billion-dollar valuation, and we don't really know like the dollars that they raised in that, but like a multi-billion-dollar valuation.
Yeah, it's incredible. Popl won't topple. getting some funny titles here.
Yeah.
So digital business cards. This has come up thousands of times. Someone has the business card killer idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is no stranger to the startup space. But Popl, a company has not raised. They've actually bootstrapped $2.7 million in sales for digital business cards, 700,000 units sold of this digital business card product. Essentially what it is it's a small NFC device. It can stick on anything, generally the back of your phone, and you use that and you can send your digital business card from one person to another. The key is something to point out: the recipient doesn't need to have any app or anything at all. They could just NFC to that device and they get your business card, boom, just like that straight away. But what they're saying is the value isn't so much in so that there's like this physical sticker that you get. That's part of it, but the value is the Popl mobile app. The user experience, the customer experience, so once again, is winning the day. The UX, the CX there is the key to all this.
Yeah, this is very similar to like the Mexican company that we talked about that just had their big raise, where they essentially have a business card, a credit card per se, but it doesn't have your name on it or a credit card number with it, but you manage it via your app. So you turn it on, you fund it, you do all those things right there. You have complete control, and this is all really part of us like moving towards that cashless society, and we can see this happening right before our eyes in terms of how this works, and being able to track and manage how you spend your money and how that integrates. So what's interesting about this right here is that it has like an external component outside of the phone. Actually, that's very similar to the Mexican company where they have like an actual card. We're only talking about here is where now your card is virtualized as well, correct?
Yeah, your card is virtualized, and when you have that digital card where you're like, here, take the card, and you have to tap the phone, like it's still like this thing that I can lose.
Yes.
Right. And now it's a sticker on your phone. It's an NFC sticker, which same thing. Like now you got to have this thing on your phone.
Right.
Eventually, we'll just probably have this thing hard coded into the phone. Again, just like the Facebook story before, like Apple or Samsung will figure this out and they'll just bake it in. But until then, like this is a great alternative. And just like a social media network, again, the key is the app. So why are they selling so like 2.7 million in sales, 700,000 units sold during a pandemic?
Yeah.
Like why? Why do you need a business card during a pandemic? And the reason is they've digitized it in a very smart and unique way.
Mm-hmm. And from a security perspective, where does it sit there? And like, does it provide any higher level of security?
Yes, it provides higher levels of security in the sense that you can change all the information. It's dynamic. It's not static. If I give you a business card and I change jobs, poof, that business card is irrelevant now.
Wow.
But if you get my card through Popl and I change jobs, I change my number, I relocate to Austin from Dallas, done. Next time you open up my card, you got the information.
Perfect for the witness relocation program.
Very perfect for that.
Okay, so retail, Deja Vu, it's happening all over again, right? 2020, is kind of like folded over into, extended innings into 2021, especially from a retail perspective. So COVID-19, really hammered retail. We know that from a physical perspective. A lot of people having to make the transition, to a digital environment. This is a great article here from Judy Model. So what they're saying here in this, and this is really, I like this particular article in particular, but because it's really focused, is like to win in the retail environment. And this is a big like CX story here, is that you have to focus on fulfillment and loyalty. I mean, we're talking about customer experience at its core. And there's some interesting stats here. So get this, Kyle. As of early this year, so like in Q1 of this year, mobile buyers account for 60.9% of the U.S. population, a number that is expected to grow exponentially by 2024. So we're not just talking about like online buyers. We're talking about mobile buyers. So like at the smartphone level. So people are not only just transacting more online, which we'd expect, and we've seen that trend, but like it's happening, at the phone level. So now it's interesting thing is like there's a downside, to kind of living on this razor's edge of driving towards providing, a better experience for the mobile buyer. And that means that retailers have to create like this seamless mobile shopping experience while reducing the risk of mobile fraud, because it seems like fraud is like at the mobile areas, like where they have the greatest, propensity for that experience to happen. So 38%, this is like a clear sale study, 38% of consumers would never place an order with a merchant after a false decline. I mean, this shows you like I'm going to just use the word sensitivity, right? The sensitivity of the consumer right now to the experience. We say your digital experience is your competitive edge. But that competitive edge is a double-edged sword. Like if you have a bad experience here, like again, 38% of consumers would never place an order with a merchant at never. That word never. It's like it doesn't say might be a little bit hesitant to come back, like never.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean that speaks to me in volumes. Actually, a group of us at Acuerdo and from external teams, we were trying to purchase something from an e-commerce site that would be cool to present on this show. I won't name any names. And the website did not like our Austin address at all. Did not like his Denver address. It didn't like our Austin, so it would not let us order. Yeah. And I forgot about it until just this moment. Like I probably would never be back there to order it again. It's nothing personal. It's just like it didn't work.
Yes,
it didn't work. It has to work. If it doesn't work, I forgot about it and moved on to the next thing.
That's correct.
That's it's nothing personal. It's just make it work, or I'm gonna find something that does work.
Well, Kyle, we live in a world of choice.
We do, and we have a ridiculous amount of choice.
Yes.
So, Frank, what you're working on? So this is really interesting. We're going to end this with something really cool. There's an app out there that, trying to make remote work feel not so remote. And they're not talking Zoom or Slack. We're talking about entering the chatty new world of co-presence apps. Co-presence apps. You ready for this?
New taxonomy.
Exactly. So companies have run into a serious problem. We have lost serendipity. Like gone, thrown out the window, it is gone. Colleagues are connecting on video chat, but it's very planned and very formal. Like we put a calendar invite out there. We know that, hey, at 10:01, Frank and Kyle are going to get onto a Zoom call and we're prepared. And then at 10:30, we're off to the next thing.
You're not bumping into anybody in the hallway.
There's no hallway to bump into, right?
That's right.
There's the hallway's gone. The kitchen's gone.
Yeah.
So there's no like, how's it going? And there's no coffee station, none of that stuff. So what this company has done, I'm going to throw them on the screen here. Teamflow. Check this out, teamflowhq.com. So Teamflow HQ, their tagline is "Feel like a team again." So essentially, it's a virtual space.
Yeah.
Users are saying that it feels rather game-like.
Yeah.
But it's a virtual space where imagine like a virtual board that you can draw like lines to say like you're in this room or you're in the coffee room.
Yeah.
And you can like drag your video bubble. So it's a bubble of you in video form.
Okay.
You can drag it around of where you're going to be. Like, I'm going to go to this room. I'm going to go to this room here. I'm going to work over here. And people can like come next to you. And if they're next to you inside of what they call your bubble, then they can eavesdrop and hear you, they can hear what's going on. They can hear you. Now you have full control of privacy, like to turn mute on and all this. But when you're in the, like, let's say you're just trying to you're grinding, you're getting some work done, but you have this on, you drag yourself into like the productive zone, and someone else comes in, they're like, hey Frank, you there? Hey, I overheard that conversation you just had. Hey, that was fire. You mind if you share that slide with me or whatever?
Right.
So it's a way to just kind of hang out virtually.
I mean, is there like a cold shoulder mode?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it removes halitosis from the whole issue right there. I mean, so like closeness and any of that kind of stuff. Your people. I mean, right? It removes all that.
It does.
And I like kind of the idea of that. It could. I mean, there could be a lot of gamification that comes around from that.
Yeah, and people, I mean, they're getting huge success factors from this right now, just in the fact of the responsiveness, the response rate to this. So, like, I feel that people are saying, like, I feel almost whole again. I feel good about, like, I'm not at the office, but it kind of feels like I am. Like, that whole dynamic when, Frank and Kyle are having like a one-on-one over here, but people over here in the office, they know that Frank and Kyle are talking right now.
Right.
Well, now you know that that's happening.
You'd want to be there for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like it. It feels an awful lot like the networking lounge type of situation that you find in like an online virtual conference, right?
But better because you can see.
Yeah.
And the bubble is a video. It's not a static image.
Oh,
it's a video. Yeah, it is a video. So you're cruising along as this bubble on this virtual space, and it's my live video feed.
Yeah.
You can't hear me unless you get close to me.
Right.
Unless
you
you're
need
in
proximity.
the bubble.
You need to be.
But you can see like my face. You can see what's going on while I'm popping around. It's interesting.
I like it actually. It's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of works. But I can see how like companies that have, one, they're going to have like a permanent work from home force where this could be valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, that's the show, Frank. That's the show. I think you had something else to say here.
Well, I was just going to say like, okay, so you say to yourself, like, I want to know when like Frank and Kyle are dropping out some live content, some podcasts and things of that nature. Well, there's a way to kind of be in the know. You can join the digital business experience community, grab your phone, text DBX to 512-790-7226. That's DBX to 512-790-7226. You'll receive a nice little reply and thank you and welcome. And in that, as we have like a lot of content coming out, we've been doing a lot of sessions with various different guests, kind of unpacking digital experience, CX, disruption, how people are pivoting. Some really good conversations that you're going to want to tie into. Go ahead and connect with us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So appreciate that, guys. Thanks for tuning into the show. We'll see you next week for week 17.
Yeah, let's do it.